Do you struggle with power while sprinting? Well, it's actually pretty hard to develop. When I was trying to sprint faster in high school, I thought all you had to do was sprint often and lift heavy weights, and that's all you needed. But I never trained my power and I never got faster. Then, after working with Les Spellman and studying for multiple years, I was able to transfer my speed from 5.0 to 4.4 seconds in the 40-yard dash with laser timing, while only using 2 jump exercises that I cycled through the entire year. These exercises also transformed hundreds of athletes I've trained with the Speed Academy program. In this video, I'll give you the only 2 jump exercises you need to sprint faster. The first exercise I'm going to give you is going to help you with your acceleration speed, but make sure you watch until the end of the video because I'll give you the best jump exercise for overall speed development. A common problem that athletes struggle with is force production during sprinting. People think that the best way to fix this would be through lifting, but the problem is time to force production and angle of force production is very important. The forces you see in sprinting are too high compared to what's possible in the weight room, and sprinting's too high velocity to mimic anything in the weight room as well. We know from research that during sprinting, you will see around 4 to 10 times your body weight in forces, while you most likely cannot squat 4 times your body weight. There's only a few ways that you can see the high forces that you're going to see from sprinting. It's going to be high velocity lifting, sprinting itself, plyometrics, and max effort jump training. The next problem that we're going to run into is that jump training and plyometric training are not the same thing. Plyometrics are store and release of elastic energy, usually under 0.25 seconds, with the fast stretch shortening cycle being under 0.2 seconds and the slow stretch shortening cycle being around 0.3 to 0.25 seconds. Jump training is bigger ranges of motion and overall slower movements, but higher power outputs. Think of a drop jump like this versus a standing jump like this. The drop jump matches more of the traditional plyometric, while a standing vertical does have a store and release of elastic energy, but is just too slow to be a plyometric and would usually fall into the slow S&C category. So if you want to improve force production for acceleration, then we need to do jump training where we apply horizontal force production that facilitates hip extension, which, as we know, hip extension is the foundation to sprinting. This angle will mimic the joint angles we have to use for fast acceleration speed. The exercise I like to use to improve force production for acceleration helped my athlete Jalen go from struggling to breaking 11.2 seconds in a 100-meter dash to drastically improving his acceleration and going from 11.2 to 10.5 seconds in a 100-meter. This improvement in his speed also got offers at the college level. If you want this exact training program, click the top link in the description or the pinned comment. And to further prove my point that we need to produce high forces in a horizontal angle, my mentor Les Spellman has said how horizontal jumping and resisted sprints are going to improve our peak forces in a horizontal angle, which is key for acceleration. And during his NFL workouts, he likes to use this exercise that I'm about to show you. The exercise is called the standing broad jump. Step 1, mark off your start place with a shoe or some type of cone. Step 2, raise up with a tall posture, hands above head, a neutral pelvis, and that we're not overextending in the lower back or pushing our chest too far up. Step 3, we want to drop down fast, initiating with a hinge and a slight bend of the knee. Some athletes might do better by bending at the knee first or dropping down slowly, but this means you have an inefficient stretch shortening cycle. And over time, we want to improve our ability to jump far with a hinge and a knee bend, not just the knee bend. Step 4, jump as fast as you can and as far as you can. Focus on extending the hip before the knee and jumping forward hard with a bit of vertical height paired with it. Step 5, mark down what distance you get and progress each week by trying to jump farther. I usually mark down the heel of where we landed, and then for the start point, I mark down the toe of where we started. Now that you know what this exercise is, you don't want to fall for this common problem. You don't only need to do a regular standing broad jump. You have different versions that are going to help specific aspects. For beginners, I really like doing a seated broad jump and non-counter movement broad jumps, which is going to help with your sprint start very well. And I like the seated broad jump to a box for anyone new to broad jumps in general, since it teaches you how to produce horizontal force while maximizing a bit of vertical force production with it. And the non-counter movement aspect of this is going to be good for sprint start strength. Then we have a fast drop and slow drop broad jumps. One is a stretch shortening cycle dominant and the other one's muscle dominant. And the most important broad jump variation for advanced athletes are going to be repeat broad jumps, with the triple broad jump being a staple to improve acceleration and overall power development for speed and vertical jump athletes. But here's a problem. Your first 3-step acceleration speed can be trained through bilateral broad jumps like these, but how do we use jump training that actually transfers over to your overall speed development? Because unlike your first 3-step projection, the further out your sprint goes, the more that relies on eccentric rate of force development, fast ground contact times, good stretch shortening cycle usage, and overall elasticity. So this means that we need a power jumping exercise that focuses on jumping for height, jumping for distance, and fast ground contact times. So I'll first show you the beginner version, then I'll show you the favorite version I programmed in the Speed Academy, which helped my athletes run this in the 40-yard dash and 100-meter dash after 4 months of training. If you want to hop on the Speed Academy to transform your speed, click the top link in the description to join today. For the beginner version of this exercise, step 1, set up like a regular broad jump and then jump as far as you can for your first jump. Step 2, land on one leg, and we want to reverse out the bottom to jump as far as you can onto the other leg as fast as we can. This will look like a regular bound. Step 3, then land on the next leg and reverse out the bottom and jump again for distance. Remember, when you're landing on one leg, you're going to be absorbing force on the ball of your foot and in a quarter squat position. And then we want to punch with hip extension to try to push as far as we possibly can. Step 3, land on the next leg and reverse out the bottom fast and jump for distance again. Step 4, land on both legs and mark down at the heel where you landed. The simple problem I see here is most athletes struggling with coordination. Start off with less intensity and then find the way you want to coordinate the first few bounds. Then start to have more powerful punch each time. If you're really struggling to figure this out, do some low intensity bounding where you're focusing on springing off the ground fast and getting that good thigh punch and hip extension from regular bounding, but just at a lower intensity. Now, the advanced version of this exercise is simply pushing the distance. So if you were going to set up for a standing triple jump, these 3 jumps would be really good for early acceleration and general power focus. But if we push it to 5 jumps, now we've added a bit more of a late acceleration focus, and we could do this all the way up until 10 jumps for distance, where we're essentially going to be straight up bounding at the end, which we know has a high transfer for overall speed development. And this will have a huge power stimulus for acceleration and even max velocity. But the ground contact times and RFD will be high enough, similar to what we actually see in sprinting. So this advanced exercise makes this a great overall combo for speed and power development. This exercise is something I use in all of my programs to run 4.4 seconds in a 40-yard dash with laser timing and help my athletes consistently sprint faster and break PRs every single month from our online training system. But before you jump into these 2 key exercises, you need to do this one thing correctly or you'll never improve. The weird thing about sprint and plyometric training is that you can't add weight to every sprint and jump you do to progressive overload every single week. So what most athletes do instead is they just do their jumps and sprints with no way to track progress consistently or no way to get max intent every time. Which means when you do these exercises, you should be following these training principles. Track every sprint and jump to get max intent and see your progress each week. And for reps and sets for each exercise, I like broad jumps to be 2 to 6 sets of 1 to 4 reps with 1 to 30 second rest between each rep and around 1 to 3 minute rest between each set. And for the standing triple jump, I like to do 2 to 6 sets of 1 to 2 reps for each leg landing first. And progressive overload will come from you trying to jump farther each session, which will increase power output over time. But here's the problem. You have to program these exercises into a workout plan with proper structure. Because just doing these exercises alone will not be enough to help you sprint faster. If you want to transform your speed, vertical jump, strength, or change direction, you can finally get personal coaching from me. This personal coaching is going to offer 100% custom programming, absolutely 0 templates. You send me your needs and goals, and I will make you a 100% custom program. You're also going to get access to my phone number and get direct training advice from me 3 to 5 days per week, where you can ask me questions or send me technique feedback. I never tried releasing online one-to-one coaching before, so for the first 10 athletes, you can get $70 off if you use the code on the screen right here. Click the top link in the description or the pinned comment to check out our personal coaching today. And now that you have 2 good jump exercises to improve your sprint speed, you need to know the 3 lifts that every athlete is doing to become more explosive.